review tonight, I have two big legal minds, Professor H Kwasi Prempeh, who chairs the Constitutional Review Committee, thinking through the OSP. He wrote the first law that we are now using. Sankoma has a proposal. He says, hive off criminal prosecutions from the AG. Let that DPP unit be merged with IOCO and then the current OSP into a truly independent prosecutorial body for criminal prosecutions. AG has three other roles: advise government, civil prosecutions, and legislative drafting. That will really give some heat to the prosecution. Prof, what do you make of your friend's legal innovation? Sankoma giving, he didn't put this in an article. He actually presented this during a Ghana Academy of Arts and Sciences lecture, so this is not something flippant. He's actually thought through this. What are your initial thoughts around this?
I asked him for a memo for the committee. He didn't bring this one.
Because I thought I sent it to you.
but I think I mean, he's solving the problem, right? I mean, the proposal solves a problem we're dealing with, right? Mm-hmm. And this is actually exactly how the Kenyan Constitution solves it. Mm-hmm. So the Kenyan Constitution 2010, remember that we come from the same legal tradition.
Yeah.
Their experiences with corruption are probably even worse than ours.
Yep. Yep.
And basically, they came to the conclusion that, they just needed to yank off the criminal prosecution power from the AG in order to save the day. So they have given it to a DPP. That's a constitutional office. So they're giving all criminal prosecution to a DPP. And that DPP is a constitutional office holder appointed by the president, but through a process. I don't think it gives it insufficient independence, especially because of the term. But, we can learn from that and basically innovate around that, because they've gone that way. We can look at it and say, okay, what are the pluses and minuses here? And we can do same. We may, however, also choose a different model, which is that the real problem we're faced with is with prosecution of corruption, right? So ACE's proposal basically takes all general crimes everywhere and says, look, anybody who is doing any criminal work at all, just let's put it under one umbrella: National Prosecutorial Authority, OSP, IOCO, anybody doing criminal, we'll put it there and then they will handle it. That's one way to go. You could also say that, look, we can basically carve out the problematic areas where there is apparent or actual conflict of interest, which is, it's not that it's only corruption. Sometimes murder cases also present, conflict of interest problems because they involve politically exposed persons, right? So in favor of AC's argument, you would say that, look, it's not only corruption that presents difficulty because of politics. There are certain crimes that a politician, attorney general, cannot easily prosecute because of who else is implicated on the other end. It may not be a corruption case. So his solution, one size, like a one-stop shop for all criminal matters, would solve the problem. You could do it a limited way. So let's say if you couple together what work anti-corruption work SHRAJ is given, which is investigative, but it's anti-corruption. You couple together the OSP and you couple together, some other ones and say, look, everybody doing corruption work, we can create a separate prosecution for corruption only, because that's what we really want to solve. And when we will dedicate anti-corruption resources for prosecution only in that one office. Then you would leave, in that case, the general crimes with the AG department, right? The reason why that solution could also be attractive is that, there is always a policy element in fighting crime. You don't want the politicians to micromanage particular cases, but sometimes you do want a situation where they can make certain policy decisions around how we're going to deploy our scarce resources to fight corruption. So if you say that, look, Galamsey is the biggest threat, so we're going to dedicate a lot more of our prosecutorial resources this year to fighting corruption. That's a policy decision with fiscal implications, budget implications that politicians would normally make. So you could say that we still keep some general crimes with the AG's department, and then we learn. But actually, I'm a bit agnostic about, I mean, I think as long as it solves the problem we're trying to fight, which is corruption, as long as it takes corruption cases and it can add other ones, but as long as the corruption cases are included in the cases that the AG, a politician AG, may not handle, I'm fine.
All right.
You can also then decide that you can go back to the old model, where in some jurisdictions the AG is a civil servant. I mean, like the DPP. Then you solve the problem out that way. So I think the menu of options around, that are emerging are fine. I mean, they're all directed at solving a problem. And for me, that's what matters.
A quick one for you. We've seen about 3 petitions, or we've heard, I haven't seen, that there are 3 petitions against the current OSP. Do you think the threshold for removal of the person in charge of the OSP is high enough? And again, without going into the details, because I haven't seen what the petitions include, but I remember Mr. Amidu and co. were worried about the provisions around how they could be removed. And they felt that it didn't really guarantee their independence. When you reflect on what the provisions for the law says about removing an OSP, having in mind that we have had a CJ removed, and there's already a process some people have tried to trigger to remove the EC chair as well.
So basically, this is from what you've said so far, this is just a rhetorical question, right?
No, I'm just asking.
Actually, I must confess that as I sit here, I really do not remember the removal provisions. I haven't seen the act in a long time. I haven't taken a look at it. And remember that I mean, which is to correct you, I really didn't write the law. We made certain drafts and contributions and memos and others that evolved over time. So at some point, I think, if my memory serves me right, the removal provisions were linked to, or maybe not the removal, maybe Court of Appeal. I don't remember. Seriously, I have to
you are doing too many things. Yeah, but I think the CJ has to get involved at some point.
Yes, I confess to you that I had not really followed.
Ace has the information. Yeah, don't worry. It's what is it?
It's similar to what happens to a Court of Appeal judge, a Superior Court judge.
That's correct.
Yes. So the same process, proven misconduct, etc.
Same thing.
Same thing. Same 146.
Yeah, it will be same thing. It will be same thing. Yeah. So really, I think basically, look, I mean, this office is new. This is correct. I mean, it's a very new office. We are not used to it. It's like I said, foreign matter, entering our body, and we're not used to it. There are many things down the line that we could do to fight corruption that we are not used to and that we are resistant to, including, like I said, lifetime audits, unexplained wealth laws. This is where the trend is globally. Established democracies are doing it this way. There's no other way, given the evolving technologies and everything, to fight corruption the way we're doing it. So we must basically be ready for more innovative ways of doing this thing. If we want to remain in the same old mode that, this is Attorney General's function, this constitutional, you can't fight it, right? Basically, you just have to innovate around this problem. And I agree with Ace that, the problem we are facing now calls for a constitutional solution. Basically, that's how we resolve this impasse. If we don't, we will start litigating around it. The office will basically disappear. It will disappear at some point if we don't solve the problem. But if we are really serious about solving it, there is no shortage of ideas, innovative ideas to deal with the problem. There are comparative models around. We can innovate our own. Like I said, the SRAG is there. We can leave SRAG to do ombudsman and human rights work. There's plenty of that work to do. We can take out that anti-corruption function, couple it together with OSP's function or Yoko or whatever, and then create a separate independent body that does only corruption. If that is not good enough for us, we can go the ACE way. We can go the National Prosecutor Authority way, where we just do all general crimes, everything under one. And then, we can do that too.
Wow. Yeah. I hope the work you are doing for the state is going well. The Constitution review.
Yeah, it is. We are done. We are done with all our meetings. We had meetings way into October. Some meetings that were basically almost, obligatory. We had to have them. So it's pushed things a bit for. I mean, we had meetings in November actually. So, but now, yes, we're in report writing stage, and so we should be done.
And you've already lost all your hair. You've already lost all your hair in the job. So I wish you.
As a result of my barber.
I wish you well. Thank you, Prof.
Thanks a lot. It's been a while. Take care.
Yes, good. Let me give you the last word. What are your closing thoughts on this?
Look, the main beneficiary of killing the OSP office prematurely is the politician. The vast majority of people who have been taken through the special prosecution system for weal or for woe have been politicians. It is therefore not surprising that the loudest squeaks are coming from the people who have been suffering at the hands of the OSP. The people of Ghana should look at that very carefully, right? But like I said, we need innovative, and I agree with Kwasi, we need innovative thinking at this moment. It is not simply to say, kill it. Because once you do that, they are still not going to resource the Attorney General Department. We'll just be back to status quo and would have wasted 8 years of learning, 8 years of experience. I think they should pipe down on it, and let's explore more ways to do this. Ultimately, like I said, I think a constitutional amendment is what is key. But let me add one last thing. That, you see, one of the reasons why we need this independent body is on the issue of nolli prosequi, where the Attorney General can decide at any time not to prosecute an offense anymore. And our Supreme Court has held that they don't owe anybody an explanation, not even the Supreme Court. And the reason is that the Supreme Court says, look, this is a separation of powers action. It's an executive action. We as the Supreme Court cannot ask them why they discontinued a crime, a prosecution. This is the Gregoria Foko case. There was a minority decision by Justice Puaman, which was like, no, time has gone past. We need to force them to tell Ghanaians why they are not continuing some offenses. But the majority said no. Bernard, interestingly, Section 52(4) of the Criminal Prosecution Act 30 says that where the special prosecutor enters a nolli prosequi under subsection 1, the special prosecutor shall state reasons for doing so. Because the special prosecutor then is not considered a part of the executive. And so when we take away prosecutorial powers from the executive and give it to an independent institution, that independent institution will be more accountable to Ghanaians. So that if they discontinue a criminal prosecution, Ghanaians can go to court to say, tell us why you are not doing this anymore. To the credit of some AGs, like Marietta Apiopon, she actually explained why she did some nolli prosequis. Dominic Aina has done a couple of them, right? I think that is the way the world is going. And we cannot say that, let's go back to 1960, surrender the AG to the presidency, and leave it in the hope that we can strengthen it. We have had 65 years of this, and this is the scorecard. We can't go back.
Esankuma is a private legal practitioner. Professor H Kwasi Prempeh is also a lawyer. He is the chair of the Constitutional Review Committee. Thanks for watching tonight's edition of The Point of View. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.